Hello again from my front porch, where I'm actually not supposed to be, and yet here I am. I get asked, come up many times, every once in a while you hear about traffic, travel issues with airlines and cancellations and delays. And certainly I've been victimized by, an unfortunate delay. Usually it's like weather related kind of stuff and things like that. And so every once in a while I have an unplanned overnight stay in a city I didn't plan to be in, but it's where I was connecting through on a flight and something happens that prevents the flight from working out the way it was supposed to. And so, you do what you got to do. Well, today, right now we have this government shutdown, partial government shutdown going on, and be very tempting. It's very tempting for me to editorialize on that, but I'm not gonna, mostly because it has only marginal, it does create the scenario today, but the details of that would take us in a whole different direction where I don't want to go with this. So anyway, there's this partial shutdown going on, and what it has done, among other things, is it has impacted air travel. It impacted TSA and some other aspects of Homeland Security that manage the stuff with the planes and coordinate some of those things. And so as a result, there have been hundreds upon hundreds of cancellations across the country. And well, today I ultimately became victim of one of those. But that's not just the story that I want to share today. That's only a piece of the story that is why I'm sitting here instead of actually where I should be, where I planned to be. I should be here, apparently, but I had planned to be somewhere else. Hold on, we'll get there. So let me just reverse. Let's go in the Wayback Machine, but not very far way back, just to this morning. And the plan was I was supposed to be getting on a plane early this morning out of Des Moines that would take me to LaGuardia Airport in New York City. And I would have a layover there that was about a 2.5-hour layover. I always like to book a longer layover for safety's sake. And then I would get on the plane there and I would fly to Fort Lauderdale, where I was supposed to be going to a 2-day meeting with one of our vendors, a conference summit kind of thing that they're hosting in Fort Lauderdale. And of course I would check in on our office and the training stuff that's going on while I was in town also. But the main thing was this 2-day event that would start tomorrow and the next day. And so hence the reason I'm flying down today. So we're at the Des Moines airport this morning, and the flight that's supposed to go to LaGuardia gets delayed. Now we had a winter storm go through here last night. We didn't get a lot of snow. It's just little, at least here in Des Moines, very, very little amount of snow, and it'll be probably gone in a couple of days. It's supposed to Mother Nature way off her meds. Last week it was up to 70s, and then the temperature has plummeted now. It's down single digits and it's cold, and we got the snow and that wind blowing through. We had blizzard warning over and blizzard conditions that shut down entire portions of the interstate going in and out of Iowa. And now, today it's cold, but here by the middle of this week, it's supposed to be back up in the 70s again. So, Mother Nature, figure your stuff out. Come on. But I digress. We're at the airport, and because of apparently these weather issues, there were some announcements made that I don't think I have ever, in all my traveling, I have never heard these announcements before. One of them was we were going to be a little delayed getting on the plane because they had snow in the plane that they needed to clean out. And a bunch of us in the waiting area looked at each other like, how did snow get in the plane? What, did somebody leave the door open? Okay. But so that was one announcement that they made. And then they came back and announced that if you were going to be in first class, they didn't have any meals today. So if you want to run back and get some food somewhere in the airport, take a moment to do that. For once, I was grateful I was not upgraded to first class, because then I wasn't grumbling about that, first world problems and all that. I'm in first class and I don't get the breakfast. But I didn't have to worry about it because I wasn't upgraded to that this time. But still, I've never heard them announce that. Oh, hey, if you're in first class, oh, sorry, you're just out of luck. We don't have the goodies for you. And it's like, really? But then the last announcement was, well, we've got a problem, something with the potable water, and the toilets aren't working, and so you might want to go to the bathroom before we get on the plane. It's almost a 3-hour flight. And so, okay, it's good advice. And so people get up and we go and do that. And then we're still waiting. And we find out that the pilot has decided, no, we need to see about doing something with these toilets. So he has maintenance come and look at them. And that creates delay and delay and more delay and more delay. And I think altogether it was like an hour and a half delay before it was finally. And of course, I have this long layover and I'm watching it get shrunk down and shrunk down and shrunk down. But it looks like we're still going to come into the same concourse in LaGuardia. It says I'm only going to be about 10 gates away from each other. And if they set them up with one on each side, it could just be 5 gates, and so, I shouldn't have a problem. I still am going to have almost an hour that I can work with. And so I'm not worried about it. I'm frustrated like everybody else that we're delayed, but I'm not worried. Well, finally, after all this delay, they come out and they say, all right, everybody, we're going to go. The gate agent, wonderful young lady that was doing a good job keeping us informed, and she had a good attitude about things, but then she said something to the effect of, all right, I know you all are tired of hearing me talk, and I'm tired of talking to you. I just want you to know that I know you want to get out of here and get on your way, and we want to get you the heck out of here and on your way too. So let's get this show on the road. It's like, all right, that's about as blunt and as folksy as you can get. Let's go. And so I get my phone out to bring up my boarding pass, and I receive at that point a text message from American Airlines informing me my flight from LaGuardia to Fort Lauderdale is not delayed but canceled. One of you keep seeing on the news about, again, the hundreds of flights being canceled. Well, I finally caught one of them, or wasn't going to catch one of them. And so it was canceled. And so then I'm like, well, okay, what does that mean? What do I still get it? Because this plane is now boarding. Literally, they have started boarding. So I get on the phone to call the travel agency folks that support my company to see if and of course, wait time because about blah, 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 you're number 11 in line. I'm like, oh man. And so I made the decision, I don't think I'm gonna get on the plane. I went up and I did ask the gate agent. I said, are there any other flights? I need to get to Fort Lauderdale. Can I take a flight from Des Moines to anywhere else, transition through somewhere else, connect, that it can get me to Fort Lauderdale today? At least on American Airlines, there were no open seats on any other planes today because of the cancellations that had already been piling up and them rerouting people and rebooking people. So any seat that was open leaving Des Moines today was already full. There were no other options, no rerouting options available today out of Des Moines. And so then I said, I know that LaGuardia is where I would have to make any changes there, but do you have any way of looking at what it's looking like there? And I don't know what she looked at or what she pulled up, but she did confirm that it wasn't looking good from what she could see, that it likely would not be until tomorrow at the earliest before I would get out of LaGuardia. And I've heard that before. I have heard situations. In fact, I almost was subject to one once where I got delayed and they said it would be at least a couple of days. At least a couple of days. And so I didn't want that to happen to me this time. And so I said, well, what would happen if I just cancel the whole thing? That's what we wound up doing. I decided not to go, and here I am at home. But had it not been for that issue with the toilets, I would have been on that first plane. It would have taken off on time. I'd have got to New York, and all of this would have happened. I'd have been stuck there. So I am thankful for broken toilets. The broken toilets of fate. You just got to have a good attitude. See, now I'm not going to the event that I was planning to go to, and that's okay. I'll live. And I'm at home. And that's good too. So it's all in how you look at stuff. And with that, I'm going to let you go, and I'll see you next time from my front porch.